Hello, Bulldogs. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Adobe Premiere, our video editing software. To start with, when you open up Premiere, you will see the project panel, the source panel, the program panel, the effects panel, and the timeline. Before you do anything in Premiere, you need to make sure that you create a new sequence. Notice that we do not have a sequence as of now. A shortcut for the sequence is holding down Control and hitting the letter N. Once you do this, the third file folder down is called AVCHD. The second folder down from that is called 1080p, and the preset we need to choose is AVCHD 1080p at 30 frames per second. Click OK once you have that done, and you will see a timeline. You could have gone File, New, Sequence. That will work too, but Control N is the shortcut. Once you have that done, we're going to go ahead and work on titles today. Okay. The practice panel allows you to import titles. The source panel will show you those titles, and the program panel shows you what is on the timeline. The timeline has what is known as the playhead. I like to click the wrench at the beginning of a project and make sure that all 6 of these are selected. These show your thumbnail, the keyframe, and the name, and the other 3 are for audio. So let's go ahead and make a title so we can figure out kind of what all these things do. I'm going to click on File, New, and I'm going to choose Legacy Title. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this a still title, and I'm going to click OK. This is the titler box. Once this box opens, go ahead and type something. I'm just going to type in, this is a still title. Once you have that done, you want to go ahead and possibly click on one of the preset styles. So I'll scroll down here, and you may have to adjust this a little bit so you can see them. We can change the font up here if we'd like. Once you change the font to something you like, you can make the font bigger by dragging this to the right. We've done this before in other programs. I like to use the center box. This centers it for you. And then you can choose a style. I'm going to choose this kind of medium gold. Notice that my text splits out a little. You can always fix that by adjusting the kern. You can squeeze it in, you can squeeze it out. I'm just going to kind of bring it into like so. And then I'm going to center it again. Center, center. Once you have that done, you'll notice I have this really cool looking text. This little guy up here will do all kinds of stuff. This is all the settings for your text. You can change the opacity so you can see through it. You could change the XY position. But more likely, you're going to change the colors. Down here, currently, we have what is known as a 4-color gradient. That's kind of complicated, and that's why it looks so cool. I'm going to click on solid. Notice that it changed to a solid. If I wanted to change that color, I can either click the box, choose a color, and click OK, or I can click the dropper tool and match something. Sometimes a background you might want to match. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further, and you'll see that I have some other things that are already pre-selected in this style, like a stroke. This stroke is yellowish, white. I'm going to change that. Let's make that a bright yellow. And you can't see it very well, so I'm going to change the size of that stroke so it's a little easier to see. And then I'm going to turn off these other strokes. You're not going to be able to see them very well anyways, with my black background. Go ahead and center it one more time. Close the titler, and you'll notice that it appears over here in my titles, my project panel. So now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it down to the timeline. Now, as you can see, everything's kind of crunched together down here. Everything is adjustable. You can adjust the timeline size, you can adjust the vertical panel size, and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and also adjust these little video video tracks so that they're a little taller. I'm also going to zoom into my timeline a little bit by hitting plus, plus, plus on the keyboard. And once I do that, I need to move this just a little higher up so you can see it. There we go. You'll see the thumbnail. Okay, and I kind of like being able to see that thumbnail because then I know what's on the timeline. We're not going to deal with audio today, or else I'd stretch these audio layers out as well. All right, the next title I'm going to make is called a File, New, Legacy Title, just like last time. This one is called The Crawl. Call it crawl because it crawls left or crawls right, whatever you tell it to do. Okay. When you open up the title, you'll notice that the title I just made is on the little frame here. We don't want that. It's on there because the playhead is still on top of the title that's on the timeline one. So all you got to do is take that playhead and move it away from the title, and you will be able to have a solid black background. The reason they do that is so if you want to put another, maybe you wanted to put another title right underneath this one and wanted to be able to see this title so you knew where to put the next title. Okay, so I'm going to move that over. I'm going to use my text tool, and I'm just going to type in, this is a crawl. Now this time, I'm not going to change a lot of the colors. I'm just going to pick one that I kind of like. All you do for that is you click on your text, and you choose a color. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to center it. And this time I'm going to go up here and click on this tiny little button right here. It is called the Roll Crawl Options window that will pop open. And I'm going to make this crawl to the left. And I'm going to say I want it to start off screen and end off screen. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to X out of that. And then I'm going to drag this to the timeline. And look what I have. I have a title that crawls from my left, or crawls to the left from the right. That is called a crawl title. I do want you to put different types of outlines on each of these. Okay, so you're going to come over here and remember to put some sort of stroke on it of some sort. Okay, something other than black so you can see it. This one, let me try red. Okay, again, we're just practicing adding strokes and fills. So put something on there so we can see that you know how to do that. The final one I want you to do, remember to move your playhead off of whatever is on the timeline, is what is known as a roll title. New legacy title. We're going to call this one roll. We're going to click OK. And this time, we're going to kind of set this one up as credits. We're going to say this is a roll title. Now, typically when you're doing credits, this would say not this is a roll title, it would say directed by. I'm going to go ahead and make this part of it a little larger, increase the font size a little, and then I'm going to make sure this is justified to the center, and I'm going to sort of center this like so. And then when you're making credits, an easy way to make a bunch at one time is just to click after the E and hit enter, 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 Control V, enter, 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 Control V. Okay, we still need to click on this little button here. We still need to click roll. This time we're going to click roll title, start off screen, end off screen, OK, X out, and move that down to the timeline. And we have our first rolling title. If you want these to go slower, you stretch out the clip. If you want it to go faster, you shrink it down. That is it. Still title, a crawl title, and a roll title. I want you to do 3 of each. If you have some time, try to do another 3 of each. Tomorrow we're going to talk about effects and transitions. Also importing a few pictures. That is it. This is the Bulldog signing off.